It's back.
And we mean business.
It's Series 2 of the Blue Chip All-Star Academy. Welcome to the 2017 Blue Chip All-Star Academy. I'm Jenny Rudel.
And I'm Pammy Hutton.
And just like last time, we'll be putting 8 specially chosen riders through their paces to find the All-Star champion. The winner will receive a year's worth of sponsorship from Blue Chip and get to present with me on Horse and Country TV.
They will have 4 days of intense training at our family's Talent School of Equitation.
I feel incredibly emotional and I'm trying to hold it together. I'm not doing a very good job.
And we've invited some special friends to help out.
I'm nervous.
You'll be all right.
Pammy watching me. Oh, I've heard what a dragon she is.
I'm going to help Kelly here with her cob, who I obviously did want to hog earlier on, but he's really cute and he's got a lovely mane.
You've got to get over your nerves, otherwise Jenny will be counselling you every time you work with her, which is not what she needs to be doing.
We'll be testing them in the saddle.
I love it how everyone moves as soon as my mother says hello.
Whoa, stop, 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 make it walk. Walk, walk, walk and go in a straight line, to the fence.
Kelly, either do it or don't. Don't half do it.
As well as challenging their turnout techniques and their tack know-how.
And that is a universal. And I actually don't know, so I might just do a tap dance in the interim because I actually don't have a clue about any more.
But this isn't a riding competition. We're looking for an all-round star.
Nice passage, Harry. Is that intentional, though?
And we've got a couple of other things up our sleeves to sort the best from the rest. So fasten your chin straps.
This is going to be the ride of their lives.
Let's meet the lucky 8.
My name is Kerry Davis and I'm 38. I'm a French and Spanish teacher by day and a Zumba instructor by night. The other ginger over here is Chimbonda, otherwise known as Chimmy, and together we've been trying hand and hoof at a little bit of everything, but it definitely looks as though eventing is the way we'd like to go, with a little bit of team chasing thrown in for good measure.
Hi, my name's Ella Knight, I'm 18 years old. I am stable girl at Two Cans to Question, which is where I keep Frosty. I'm also between a bar and kitchen at 2 of my local pubs. We haven't been together very long, only about 3 months, so we're taking it steady, doing local show jumping and dressage, but in future we'd like to event.
Hi there, I'm Hannah, I'm 22 and I'm a university student and work part-time as a groom on a show jumping yard. This here is Andy and we mostly compete in dressage, although we have started jumping again and hope to get out competing this summer.
Hi, I'm Harry, I'm 30 and I'm in the army and this is my horse Cleo. We're both aspiring show jumpers and we'd like to win just to prove that you don't have to be a full-time rider to be successful in equestrian sports.
Hi there, I'm Kelly. I'm 36 years old. I'm an HR manager working for our family company which is based in Suffolk. This is the fabulous Fenton Splint. We're about to have a flat work lesson and I would say that dressage is our strongest discipline, but we do like to do cross country and show jumping as well. I would absolutely love to win the All-Star Academy, but most importantly I'm looking forward to meeting Pammy and her team and becoming a stronger combination than when we arrived.
Hi, this is Derry and I'm Mead, he's 6 and I'm 18 and we event. When I'm not riding, I'm working on the golf course and it'd be great to win, so I have the opportunity to work at Blue Chip and Horse and Country.
Hi, I'm Tina, I'm 31 years old and work in the motor trade. This is my horse Banksy. Together we compete at BE90 and all riding club activities and we're very much looking forward to being part of the show. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Victoria Brandt. You can call me Vic. I'm 30 years old. I'm a marketing manager from West Sussex and this is my horse Pat. Together we terrify ourselves with the sport of eventing. We also do a bit of dressage on the side. And we'd love to win the Blue Chip All-Star Academy for anybody that's come back from a bit of a confidence wobble.
After a very early start, our 8 contestants begin arriving at Talland on Wednesday morning, eager to get going at the academy.
I've heard that Pammy can be a bit scary, but you know, I'm looking forward to it.
Watch out, we're the clumsy ones.
Fingers crossed it will go well. He's not as nervous as I am, because I am really nervous.
It is nerve-wracking knowing that I'm the least experienced here, everyone else has done far more than me, and you just don't want to kind of make those silly mistakes that you don't really think of when you're a bit more novice and that which people might kind of notice. So we'll see how we go, but hopefully we'll do ourselves proud.
Making it to this year's academy is particularly special for Kelly, who was the reserve rider in 2016. Now she's here for real.
Absolutely amazing to be picked this year. Absolute dream come true, really.
Tell me about it.
I am very excited. Very excited. It's a bit surreal now. It's actually happening. In here.
Oh, a lovely bed. Not used to something like that, girl.
What time are you up this morning then?
Oh, 4:30.
I only learnt to bandage on Saturday. Oh, is that so nice, Chimbonda? Is that so nice? Yay! Handsome boy.
Boys, you're in your rooms first.
It's a full-on 4 days at the academy for our riders. Sharing rooms, there's very little privacy.
Here we go. This is your room.
Oh. Yes. Shotgun the bottom bunk. Oh, on top.
Oh, the bottom bunk, mate.
And they hardly have a moment to catch their breaths before it's showtime.
Welcome to the Blue Chip All-Star Academy. Congratulations, you guys are the final 8, chosen out of hundreds of entrants. But I'm afraid now it's your turn to prove to us that you are worthy of the place you've earned here. I'm sure you all know Pammy Hutton by now, and if you don't, well, you will after the next 4 days. I've also got another special guest along to keep an eye on you. You might recognise her familiar face, Ree, over there, but she'll be keeping a very close eye on you. Pammy, can you give us a little introduction?
You'll be in for 4 days of intensive training, hopefully some learning. You'll be put through your paces here at Talland. We're not looking for the best rider or a specialist in anything particular. We're looking for an all-round performer.
You will be judged throughout your time here, and over the course of the next 4 days, the leading rider will be wearing a golden hat. There's also a very special challenge at the end on the Saturday where the winner will be announced, and that is a freestyle competition. Pammy, can you tell us a little bit more about what's expected of them in that?
Yes, this will be a freestyle dressage to music. You make up your own pattern with your horse in walk, trot and canter that goes with the music appropriately. And the only thing I will say is you'll probably be working in the middle of the night as well.
So there's a disc in front of you compiled by Cadence with your music on that's specially tailored to you. There's also, as you can see, a little bit jealous, there's a lot of goodies which you're about to tuck into. You also then need to get your hats checked, your back protectors fitted, and then we want you back in here in an hour for your first riding module.
Good luck.
So if you just put your arms back, there we are.
This is more than all the stuff I actually own. Seriously.
That's a good fit, okay? And then the sides, they just pop out.
He's got a brand new, nice blingy bridle, which we'll be really excited to wear.
Do you want a bit tighter, or will that stop you? Or will that stop you talking?
Stop me talking. It's my best asset.
Okay.
Your hat has batteries. It's got a light on the front. How cool is that?
I'm not used to having breeches as flashy as these.
After the break, 8 riders at the ready. The waiting is over as our All-Stars emerge with their horses for their first riding module.
Well, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. All 8 contestants are now in the arena on their horses, and well, let's face it, they're probably terrified right now, because in the arena with them is the wonderful Pammy Hutton just behind me there, and she's taken 4 of the riders, and over the other side of the arena is her son, international dressage superstar Charlie Hutton. So they've split the groups, they're having a chat with them, working out what they're all about, and I think it's going to be really exciting, this first look at what our riders are really all about.
Watch in the mirror. Sorry. I'll say the words again. Go straight on.
Horses respond from one way of training, which is pressure release, okay? So horses also think very differently to us in the sense that they learn through memory. And so it's very much, you've got to program them and condition them as to what responses you're trying to look for, basically. So obviously less pressure, i.e. giving with the reins, is a reward, and more pressure is a negative influence.
Calm this down, lot slower, lot slower. Ready, steady, run. One. Look in the mirror. Can you not see the toes beginning to come out?
How are you getting on, Vic? Well, this looks very nice. It's a nice mover in trot. Got a nice swing to his body. I mean, back in the day, thoroughbreds were all, you know, all they had for Olympic horses, so it's more, it shows with thoroughbreds, it's more about the quality of the training, really, than anything else.
You bought him 2 days ago? Right. So, but you've known him for how long? Okay.
So you've almost, in a way, got to pretend that you know what you're doing. Even if your method is completely useless, you have got to go in there and you have got to sell him your story, and you say, do you know what? This is right. I am in charge. I'm your leader. This is going to make you world class. And then you look and go, oh dear, maybe I should have done a different approach. But that's what you need to do for him.
So the riders have been going for a few minutes now, and Pammy's already getting to grips with a few of them. I've had a little bit of shouting going on, but it all seems quite pleasant at this point in time. So why don't we have a little look, and I'll introduce you to the first 4 that are over here. Ella, and she's on Frosty. And I've just heard from Ella herself that she's not actually had Frosty for very long. So this is kind of a baptism of fire for both of them, I think. But she seems to be getting on pretty well with her.
So you worked him hard in canter because that long term is what you want to get better. Ian, that's fine. That's fine. You're not in trouble yet. Don't worry.
And then just riding behind her is the coloured horse. It's good to have a coloured horse in here. Nice skewbald, Banksy, being ridden by Tina. Apparently Tina works in the motor trade. And Tina just seems to be quite calmly cracking on with it. Quite level-headed, doesn't seem too fazed by it all, which is quite nice to see. I don't think she's been had a session with Pammy yet, so we'll see how calm she is after that. And then just riding past Banksy there at the end of the arena is who I'm informed is the Irish Dutch cob. And this is Flint, ridden by Kelly. And when you think the word cob, you don't necessarily think dressage superstar, but she's mum of 3, and so she should be used to kind of working hard and a bit of pressure, but she's really cracking on, and this horse is really cute. I mean, I have to say I've spotted this one already, and I really like the look of him. And then finally, we have Kerry, the chestnut, Chim Bonder. She's got matching red stirrup irons. There's a lot of red going on over in that corner. Red hair, red horse, excellent stuff, love it. And apparently, I'm reliably informed that Kerry has only been riding for 18 months. None of them have done high-level dressage. And, I mean, Kerry's shaking her head, this must be quite... So yeah, dressage to music is something they've got to tackle later on, and Kerry looks petrified. She's thinking the closest Kerry's ever got to dressage to music is Zumba. So this could be very interesting, but yeah, it's making good watching so far.
If you sit either slightly rigid or slightly tight, then you're making it concussive for his back. If you are loose through your lower back, through your pelvis and through your thigh, you'll actually be allowing the movement to flow through your body. So notice how there, the trot, he's a little behind you now. Try and encourage him to push his hind legs a little bit more under, that's it. Now guide him a little lower. Even though, I was about to say, even though it's uncomfortable for you, you have to try and follow the movement, okay?
And now trot too slowly. Good girl. Change your diagonal. Now try trotting in the middle at the correct speed. So if you go too fast and then trot too slow, there you are. It's quite a good way of finding out what the correct speed is. Yeah? Good. I know, but you're only just starting to breathe. You were as mad as a hatter as you came down the long side in canter. And calm down, concentrate. That's better. Feel that?
Well, this moment has got to be probably the most nerve-wracking for our contestant, and no one knows better than what this feels like than last year's winner, Ree, who not only came in and did this on a horse that she'd only been riding for a couple of weeks on. I'm sure everyone will remember Bob. Ree, how are this lot feeling right now?
They're terrified. I mean, some of them are showing they're terrified, some of them are trying to hide it, but I'm pretty sure they're all terrified.
And obviously, we've just seen there that someone like Ella's not had her horse for that long, so total inexperience there of what he's going to be like in this situation. And you had that with Bob. Were you just like more scared of Pammy, more scared of how Bob was going to react, more scared of Charlie? What was your main fear?
Like you say, I think if you're a really well-established combination, then you kind of know what your horse is going to react like in this sort of big arena, cameras around, you know, instructors, other horses riding. But if you're a new combination, you've only had your horse a few weeks, for example, or he's just been off the racetrack for 2 weeks, like me, just the complete unknown. You have no idea what's going to happen, and you just hope you don't fall off on camera, really. That's what I was hoping, anyway.
And did you know how fearsome Pammy was? Were you scared?
I didn't know how scary she was before I got here, and I think that's probably a good thing, or I might not have come.
Well, you got through it. Let's see how these guys are going to get on.
So he's not porcelain. Bend him a little bit more to the inside, to the right. That's it. To the right. That's it. And keep your outside leg back. Sport the quarters. Push him a little more forward. Not too fast in between.
Really quick chat, Charlie. Welcome back. You're here for another year. How are you feeling about it this year?
I'm feeling really excited. It's good to be back and nice to see all new faces.
And how's the class looking so far?
I think pretty good. I think a few nervous ones, but all in all, I think they're quite impressed.
Well, you are dressage's answer to One Direction with that hair, so I'm sure they'll enjoy having a lesson with you. Thanks, Charlie.
Kelly, either do it or don't. Don't half do it. Smaller circle. The walk's not nearly the disaster that you think. I think you need to keep a little bit, just turn left and trot a circle. And I'll have a £10 bet with you. You have more left bend on the left rein than you do right. Well, do you see that? So you ought not to ride on the left rein with more left bend than you do on the right rein with right bend. Does that make sense? Yeah?
If you want to have a really top quality transition, whether it's upwards, downwards, trot, canter, doesn't actually matter what it is. The method is very simple. You've got to break down the transition into bite-sized chunks that can be attainable and successful, that you set him up to succeed rather than fail.
So quietly press on your stirrups, sitting trot, press on your stirrups, walk, and relax. Relax. I've finished my test, I've finished my test. That's better. What's wrong with that? Yeah? Give him a little break a minute.
So, Pammy, have you terrified any of them into submission? How's it going so far?
No, because actually, quite interestingly enough, one or two are away with the fairies. Sort of, it's their first session riding, bit nervous, too fast, not tuning into their horses, worrying about everything that's wrong, and not really communicating enough to show some improvement.
Anyone caught your eye?
Yes. Kelly on the little cob.
I liked that as well.
Was really quick to tune in, whereas the others are so intent on finding this wrong, that wrong, that there's not been quite yet enough tuning in.
Well, if anyone can tune them in, Pammy, it's you.
I don't want you to ride perfectly for me and present him and do, you know, almost like ride like you would in a test. What I like to see in riders is really effective ones where you're teaching him how to be in a better way of going, whether that's more in front of the leg, whatever. So try and have small moments in time of quality, praise him for that, and if you lose it, you lose it, but then, you know, he's only young. Does that make sense? Well, that was really short and brief, but we're going to leave that there because we have to swap over.
After the break, Pammy and Charlie switch groups.
What you mustn't let your fingers do is spread out like Fife's bananas. I don't want to see your fingers looking like bananas.
And we find out about the lives of our All-Stars away from their horses.
So it's day one here at the Blue Chip All-Star Academy, and it's module one, the riding assessment. And you can see it's going on behind me, and the competitors are being checked out by Pammy and Charlie Hutton. But we thought you at home would like to get to know them a little bit better. So we got them to make some short videos about themselves. So why don't we check out what life's like for them outside of the stable yard.
So, when I'm not at the yard, I'm usually spending time walking my dog Jake. He's half Ridgeback, half Staffy, and I think you'll agree he's very handsome. And what better place than to be able to take him than Salisbury Plain. Look at that view, spectacular. Jake comes everywhere with me, including to work, which is the other place I spend most of my time because I'm in the British Army. I've been in the Army for 11 years now. I've done 2 tours of Afghanistan and I've travelled to countries throughout the world. And one of the best parts of being in the Army is you get lots of time to do sports, my main sport being riding.
When I'm not at the stables, you'll find me at home chasing after these 3 rascals, or I'm at the office where I work as an HR manager. Hi there, you're through to Kelly in HR, how can I help?
Away from horses, I have quite a lot of things that I like to do. It's just trying to find the time for them, which is the hard bit. I like fishing, I like woodworking and metalworking. So I'm normally building more stables or tweaking the ones I've already got, and occasionally I'm into a bit of fitness, and I like to do a bit of swimming.
When I'm not riding, you'll find me here at work. This is Hospice, my Mazda showroom. Here we are in the showroom. Here's Jenna.
Hello.
And this is where I sit. So yeah, I've worked here for 13 years. It is actually where I also met my husband. He's my boss, believe it or not. But yeah, we've been together for just over 8 years. And yeah, spend a lot of time here, love our job, and very much enjoy working in the motor trade. And when I'm not at work, you will find me either walking the doggies, Sam, Whee! I'm blue, salmon blue, or soaking my horse-related injuries, pain away in the hot tub.
So, I'm supposed to be telling you about the non-horsey part of my life, but try as I might, it turns out that that just doesn't exist. So I've got one of my dogs, Mick, here to help try and explain what else I get up to in the day. So I work with horses, I keep Andy down the road in livery, and I've got some horses and ponies here at my family's home in East Sussex. All my friends are horsey as well, and I mean, I've got a farrier boyfriend. There really is no escape. The least horsey part of my day is when I'm stuck in the house working on my uni assignments. But, I mean, I am working for a degree in equine sciences, so, I mean, you can see the theme that's starting to grow here. I wouldn't have it any other way, though. Horses definitely are my life, and I'm really looking forward to a future growing in the industry with them.
So when I'm not at the stables, I work as marketing manager for a group of construction companies. When I'm not at work, I enjoy writing books. I am a successful blogger on Diary of a Wimpy Eventer. It takes up quite a bit of my time. But when I'm not doing that, my husband and I like to go down to the local pub, enjoy a pub quiz and meet with friends.
So, after all the jobs are done with the horses, you're either going to find me in my bed sleeping or I'm going to be at one of my local pubs working, like I am now, where I do a lot of this and a lot of this. As stressful and hard work as it is at times, I know it's all worth it because the money I earn from working so hard funds my love and passion for the horses. However, this won't be for much longer because I'm off to go and start studying to be a paramedic in September, which I'm super excited about and cannot wait to get stuck into.
When we're not doing this or this, there are lots of other things I like to do to keep myself busy, such as running with my gorgeous greyhound Bluey, or whipping up a delicious batch of double chocolate chunk brownies. I also really like learning languages. I speak French, Spanish, Portuguese and Romanian, and I'm currently brushing up on my Italian. Arrivederci, a presto. But most of all, I really enjoy spending time with this handsome son of a gun.
Well, it's module 1 and the riders have just swapped over. So the 4 that Pammy was teaching have now gone over to have a bit of a lesson with Charlie.
And you bought an ex-racer. Started riding a year ago, ex-racer, love it, okay?
And now we have 4 new riders over here. So why don't I have a little chat with you about who they all are? And why not start with Vic here, who's just nearly trying to run me over. So Vic's horse is called Pat. And according to Vic, she tries to event. So a bit like all of us, really, who will try an event, but we'll see a little bit more about how good she is at that later. And then just coming towards me here now is Mead. And Mead is an eventer as well. Getting on with the workmanlike. He's obviously used to being in an arena with lots of other horses around because he seems not too fazed about it. And his horse is called Derry. And if we go down to the other end of the arena, being... I was going to say barked at, but I probably should say having pearls of wisdom imparted on him, is a lovely grey horse. Now, apparently rider and horse combination are quite inexperienced. So Harry's horse, which is called Cleo, is only actually 5 years old. And you'll like this one, ladies. Harry is a captain in the army. I'm sure Rhea will find out later on if he's actually bought his uniform. So we'll see. We'll send her behind the scenes to find that one out. So yeah, quite an inexperienced combination, both horse and rider, because I hear Harry's had a 10-year break from riding. And then we have an American here, ladies and gentlemen. Hannah, just riding down the middle of the arena here. Lovely Hannah, and her horse is called Andy. And apparently she likes to do her dressage. I don't know if you should admit that to Pammy at this stage. Maybe she should just say she's an all-rounder.
Good girl. I really do believe in communicating.
She's really sweet and she seems to pick things up really quickly, but she also seems to get distracted really easily.
Yeah, well, that's natural because she's not been worked on the bit for 30 minutes every day, for 5 days a week, for a year. Right, trot her on, pop her on the bit.
He's had most of his career cantering left. I love it how everyone moves as soon as my mother says hello. All right.
Good. Good girl. Not too much leg. She's all... I know we're supposed to push them up from behind, but she needs explaining with your fingers.
The first thing I see is it looks like you need a little bit more intent to get him thinking about possibly what the next movement is, rather than ducking and diving and looking for kind of different ways of not listening. Riding's not complicated, okay? It's very simple. You have to reward the good and try to teach him the difference between good and bad, okay? So the harder the rider works, okay, the more often the aids end up getting lost in translation, because ultimately what you're doing is you're almost creating white noise.
Me, turn your hands over for me, that's it. Thumbs on the top. So, yeah, look at your right hand. Your chimney keeps falling off the top of the house. That's it. And sitting trot. And hold it with your seat. Very nice. Good.
It's really hard when you don't have a kind of, when you haven't done it with 20 different horses and, you know, you've got that experience to kind of say, that's what I'm looking for. I expect him to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure when it is right.
Yeah. And I get that, I can see that, but then if you're not sure when it's right, exactly, how does he know?
Harry, like driving a car in France. If you want the bend to the left a little bit, your inside rein is responsible for direction and flexion. Yes? I know people say use the inside leg to the outside rein and nothing else.
Dutch warm cob. How's the Dutch warm cob? He's got such a cheeky face on him.
Right. So you're going down that school, and if you lose the bend, I will get a little upset. Please keep the flexion to the inside. Left leg, look in the mirror. Look, it doesn't matter. Oh, why don't I just collapse in laughter too? You're going to make me very cross. Not because I've been asked to get cross, but because your brain goes away from your horse. Ha, 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 it's changed legs. Have you passed on to your horse that that's incorrect? No. Why did it change legs? Because you didn't keep the flexion.
It's like when you go to the gym, you've got to use the appropriate muscles for the job that you're doing. If you're doing it in the wrong way, you're building up the wrong muscles. Okay, so for me, what I would do is treat your schooling sessions on the flat a bit like yoga and be like, come on, I want him down, I want him up, I want him stretching left and right, and make sure that you can put him wherever you want him, whenever you want to.
And I think you're very capable of doing this. Now, please go and concentrate and do that and prove me right. Get down there and go and do it. Go on. Keep the flexion to the inside. That's it. Look in the mirror. Right fingers, left leg. Doesn't matter. Good girl. Well corrected. At that time, because you didn't mentally collapse, you only got 2 steps, but you got 2 steps. What you mustn't let your fingers do is spread out like Fife's bananas. I'm on a banana diet, so, but I don't want to see your fingers looking like bananas. Okay, time's up.
That's it. There's no more chances for these riders to make that all-important first impression. They're going to take those horses back to the stables, and I'm going to find Pammy and Charlie and find out who's going to get those rosettes and who's going to wear that all-important golden hat.
Ella, you've just ridden out of the arena. You must have been nervous riding in.
I was really nervous, but I think after he settled down, it kind of made me calm down. After I had a chat with Pammy, she was like, just relax, get him bending. And after I relaxed, then he relaxed, and it was so good, and got some amazing advice.
So you felt huge improvement from beginning to end?
Yeah, improvement from beginning to end. Like every time I ride him, to be honest, he's so good.
She was very nice, actually. No, it was good. Sort of just gave her, we were sort of working on bending on the inside and outside bend. No, not as scary as I thought.
Thought in the arena it might blow his brain a bit, but thankfully he kept his cool, and we did good. Really enjoyed it.
So a confident start for our riders in Module 1, but find out after the break who did enough to impress Pammy and Charlie for those all-important first riding rosettes at the All-Star Academy.
I quite liked her, I have to say. I do know that my mother has a different opinion, but she is a character.
That is the first module over with, and I think there's just one thing that we need to say up front, and that's that people said that Pammy's scary. She's not scary. She's terrifying. She's terrifying.
She is absolutely downright. No, she's brilliant.
She eats souls for breakfast.
I tell you what, she did make me cry, but I probably would have cried anyway. And I've got to admit that halfway through, I did have a little blub, a little. Once we survived, a little de-stress and a little. Oh my God, we're actually here and it's actually happening, and we've actually survived the first 10 minutes.
Absolutely loved it, overwhelmed in a good way. Makes me realise that I have even longer to go and to learn than I thought.
I got crucified for not having gloves, like crucified. So I've got gloves for our next lesson on the talent horses.
We're in the lecture room here at Talland, and it's the moment I've been waiting for, because I'd love to know what Charlie and Pammy think of our 8 contestants. But before we find out what you thought of them, let's quickly remind ourselves of who each of them are, starting off with Kerry on the chestnut chimbonda. Pammy, what did you think of her so far?
Well, she's green, very, very green, doesn't know a great deal, didn't tune into her horse phenomenally to start with, but then as I gave her a bit of help, she was very receptive. That's what I felt.
And what
Wasn't
about
she
you?
the one that went quite fast down the arena at one point?
Yes.
I looked across and went, oh.
She did.
Slightly out of control. And then we've got our army officer, Harry, on the young horse, Cleo. I'll start with you, Charlie. What did you make of him?
I quite liked him. I mean, I gave him more information than he needed, but he took it all on board, and I just gave him bits to play with, and he was good. I liked his attitude and liked his style of learning.
And a young horse, Pammy. Not easy in this situation.
No, very, very, very green. But I found, like Charlie, that he was so receptive and could easily. He made a lot of improvement in the hour.
And then we've got Kelly, who stood out on Flint. Pammy, what did you make of her?
She was so quick to tune in. She was the quickest to tune in, the quickest to show an improvement, very receptive, and also kept what she'd learnt and went back when she thought neither of us was looking to work on improvement.
Did you find that she still had energy when she got over to you, Charlie?
I actually didn't have much time for her because I left her till the end. But again, the small piece of information I gave her, she was spot on, and she was. I liked her too.
So one to watch.
Yeah.
And then we've got Victoria, the happy Victoria on Pat.
I quite liked her, I have to say. I do know that my mother has a different opinion, but she is a character.
Pammy.
She doesn't concentrate. She does run herself down. And when she stops running herself down and she concentrates, she could work in a different hemisphere.
So we'll see if she improves over the next few days, I think, with her. And then we'll go over to the American of the group, Hannah, on Andy. And she says that she does a bit of dressage, which I always think is a bit dangerous, claiming you're a dressage rider coming into this situation.
Yes. I wasn't quite sure how much dressage that she'd done. I didn't find her very receptive. Yes.
OK, moving on to Mead, our eventer of the group, riding Derry. I think you had him first, Charlie.
I did.
Receptive?
I ignored him for half the session, inadvertently, but very competent, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Came
I think
in
that was,
placid as well.
Yeah, and I think that's partly why, because I could see that he was getting on with the job and kept himself to himself and did what he needed to do.
Whereas you spent quite a lot of time with Mead.
Because my son had ignored him and because his body language was saying, I'm actually really trying and I hope somebody's noticing.
Yeah.
And my horse is on the bit and I'm doing the best possible trot that I could, and neither Pammy nor Charlie seem to have taken the slightest bit of notice of the fact that I'm working like hell and it's my turn too. So I did sit and help him. I thought that actually he was really quite good for the future.
So now moving on to Tina on the skew board, easy to remember, Banksy. I think you had a little bit of time with her, Pammy. What did you make of that horse?
I think she came in like a rocket, and then sort of after 10 minutes was exhausted. She asked an intelligent question, and she did appear very keen. But
she did say towards the end she wasn't used to kicking. So, yeah, that's saying something.
I did put a little aside note to watch over the next 4 days, here for the beer question mark. Not quite, but, you know, just like...
I
know.
And then finally, one of the youngest in the competition, Ella, on the grey Frosty.
Yeah, I think that she was one that just kept her head down. She did what she needed to do, and actually she worked her horse quite nicely. She knew where she was with her experience, and she knew that she needed to just get to know the horse. So for me, she did a good job.
Yeah, quietly worked away. Yeah. What about you, Pammy?
That's because, hopefully...
You set her up.
Yes, hopefully, because she was going far too fast. She was stiff, and she wasn't sure what she was doing. And I suggest we came back to walk and got the horse a little bit softer, and I got her concentrating on the job in hand. She then started to work on the suppleness.
So we've been through all of our riders, and now is the time to decide from that first assessment who our 2 runners-up are, and they get a rosette each, and then who we decide gets the golden hat for today and gets 2 rosettes and takes the first top spot on our leaderboard. Oh, excited stuff. So do we want to go straight away and just decide who our 2 runners-up are, and are we going to have a disagreement here, ladies and gentlemen?
I would have Mead as a runner-up.
Okay. I mean, I personally got Tina. So that's...
I find her too unfit.
Too unfit?
Okay.
And not... She did stop and chat to people on the side. More than once.
So at the moment, you're thinking Mead and you're thinking
well, let's think,
Tina.
and because we might have to negotiate.
Yeah.
And then you both equally said that, just to recap, you both liked Harry. You said he was responsive, he was on a young horse, and you liked the way he took on board what you were saying. Would that not put him in the running to be a runner-up?
Yes.
I think also more potentially for me, maybe the winner.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And here we disagree, because I would have Kelly, because I walked into our school, they were all in chaos.
Yeah.
I picked out the one who I instinctively felt was going to sit and listen and improve, and she wasn't at all nervous of me, and she just settled down and worked probably within 60 seconds. And I think we've got to judge the module.
Yeah. It's that first impression, isn't it, that we're getting from them?
Yeah.
But again, I thought from beginning to end, Harry was the one that stood out as one who really improved, but I would have put Kelly over him personally.
Okay, so...
Can you stomach that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Well, that means then we need still one more runner-up, which I'm guessing is between you 2, fighting it out between Mead and Tina.
It's going to be...
I'm happy to go Mead.
Bear in mind, you
based on
ignored
your
him.
decision, exactly.
And I like the communication from him to his horse, as opposed to just coming in and trying to get it all right to win rosettes. I mean, there was a genuine feeling between him and his horse.
Plus, he wins an effort with me. He shook me by the hand before we started and said, "Nice to meet you." So there you go. I'm happy to meet you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the boys are doing quite well, but I think Kelly takes it, and then we get Harry and Mead as our runners-up. So let's go over now to our first leaderboard of the Blue Chip All-Star Academy.
Kelly is in the lead with 2 rosettes, and Harry and Mead are in joint second place.
We had to come and find you because I want to tell you, you just won the first module.
Oh my god! Oh!
Therefore, I'm going to present you with the golden helmet for you to wear for the next module. How do you feel?
Amazing. I didn't expect that at all. Brilliant. Thank you.
Just heard that I was runner-up in the first riding module. It was really good. Wasn't as bad as I thought. So I've got lots to work on and looking forward to the rest of the week.
I'm really happy with how Cleo, my horse, went today. I think she did really well, and I think she was probably just as afraid as I was, so really happy with that.
Well, that takes us to the end of the first episode of the Blue Chip All-Star Academy. It's been an interesting few hours, but this is only the beginning. It's all very well looking pretty on your own pony, But next up, they've got to tackle the Talon Schoolmasters.
He's not a racehorse, he's a dressage horse.
And then they'll be digging deep into their equestrian knowledge to take on the Mickleham Tack Challenge.
D-ring or egg butt? D-ring or egg butt? I'm going to go with the D-ring because I think that was an egg butt.
Join us next time for episode 2 of the Blue Chip All-Star Academy.